UFC Perth. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. And also note, I'll be live for the entire card Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the fight companion. The UFC marathon is upon us. 9 weeks straight. Content every single day. I'm locked in and ready to go. Let's start it off. Fight number 1 on UFC Perth. We got heavyweights going after it. Brando Peričić versus Elisha Ellison. My pick is going to be Peričić to go out and win. From what I saw, clean striking and a knockout ability. But also from what I've heard, this guy seems pretty legit as an athlete and a fighter, has kickboxing, Muay Thai, and rugby experience. Long-time subscriber to the channel, Paku, is actually boys with him. So I want to shout out to my guy. Now, I'm not just picking it because of inside intel, but what I'll tell you is this guy seems like a legit power-hitting heavyweight with a lot of upside. Even his loss, he was absolutely cracking that guy and had him badly hurt. And an L to a guy with a nice record of 13-3 and then ended up getting submitted in the second, I don't feel like it's the end of the world. When I look at Ellison, I was rather unimpressed by the tape. Has a bit of speed for a heavyweight with his hands, I guess. He's okay. Kind of has like the hands to the middle of his chest moving style, kind of staying, I don't even want to say on a swivel because I don't want to overrate the ability, but he does have a bit of rhythm, right? He has a bit of a power shot that he'll bring over the top with, you know, some wild stuff to mix in. And I'd even consider him to be more so of an awkward striker. Whereas on the opposite end, Peričić is more of a dangerous and schooled striker. And 6'5" city kickboxing prospect, kind of a lot of check marks for things I like. Ground skills seem to be getting better. I get it. You're like, oh, but he just beat 2 debuting guys. Well, he ran them over and did what he should have. And he has a lot of striking experience in Muay Thai and kickboxing. He's in the room doing hard spars with the city kickboxing crew. I think this kid, Brando Peričić, is going to go out and thrive. And we need heavyweights with upside. We definitely need some Australian power hitters. I think that he could be a guy to watch. So I'm going with Peričić to get the win. And I do think he's probably going to get the knockout over Ellison, but we could see him get the sub. Ellison has this bad loss here to Dave Pierce. And I know the record's nice, 5-1, but the guy looked like he was like 47 years old, and he ended up dropping him and subbing him. So Ellison's chin, suspect, and we got a dangerous striker on the other side who seems to have a decent ground game. I like Peričić all day. Minus 180 for the Peričić side to go out and win. Clean favorite status. And I'd say deservingly so favorite status here because he seems to have a lot more upside. Ellison on the other side, plus 155 at the dog tag. I think this fight does end in violence, under 1.5, minus 220. I like inside distance Peričić. We don't know the line yet. We'll see. I think Peričić by KO could be something. Obviously under 2.5, but looking at what under 1.5 is already sitting at, I'll create an assumption of a minus 400 or more tag for an under 2.5 rounds. So should be pretty damn wide. I think Peričić is pretty good. I like the stand-up. I like the power in his hands. I like the aggressive striking attack. I like the fact that he's at a good team in Australia, New Zealand, rather, for, you know, where they're at, but the city kickboxing crew, they tend to create strikers that can stop takedowns. And I think Ellison on the other side, not this beastly wrestler. And if he's caught up in a striking match, I think Peričić is knocking his ass out. And I'm going violence. I'm going Peričić KO. I think the Ellison too sloppy, too hittable. And I'm going with the more fine-tuned stand-up fighter with the power advantage. We're going Peričić. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. The ladies are going after it here. It's Luana Carolina versus Michelle Montague. Okay, so I am going to pick Montague, who's absolutely more of, I want to say, a prospect to watch. She's 31, but a 31-year-old prospect as opposed to Luana Carolina. But I have my anxieties about it, to say it properly, as I spit out the zin and get it stuck on my lip. It's good luck. Montague's a good wrestler, a strong wrestler, good takedown ability, good control. submission finisher, all 6 wins, submission wins. She beats girls' asses, all right? She gets them out of there. She strangles them. She's going to take you down. She's going to choke you out. The one knock I'd say is I'm not blown away by the stand-up game. Seems a little bit on the more upright and stiff side. Does have an okay right hand, but I think counters can get through, and more fluid strikers can have some striking success against her. Now, on the side of Luana Carolina, she's a deceptively good striker. It's very herky-jerky. It's very awkward. It's a strange flow in which she'll flurry shots together and throw blitzes at her opponents. She's actually a pretty good kicker, whether it's teeps to the body, leg kicks, body kicks, even trying high kicks, etc. So her stand-up game is solid, right? The Muay Thai base. Striking is there. But I think when they tie up, there is a difference in the physicality. There's a difference in the abilities in the wrestling department. And I think those gaps are going to be too much to overlook. Now, I know some might be like, yo, long time ago, Luana Carolina pulled off the upset against Lupe Godinez. Lupe Godinez is a goddamn women's strawweight, and that was early in a run. And this fight is taking place at women's bantamweight. And Montague, 5'9", was fighting at women's featherweight. I just hope with Montague, there's no woes on the scale. The biggest worry in the back of my mind for a prospect like this, who seems to have upside, but a girl who's 5'9", making that 135 could end up being a challenge. But she's definitely quality PFL fighter, and a very successful one at that. She fought in the PFL, like Bellator, I don't know, what do we call it? PFL time period. I was surprised to see, though, they didn't keep her around. I mean, she was fighting in PFL and getting wins. I mean, she beat Abby Montez, who beat Clarissa Shields, and she was a dog there. Like, my brain tells me, why did they let her go? That's just stupid to me. She debuted with PFL. So strange to see them let her go. I guess it's because the focus is not these heavier weight classes now. They're trying to just stick with women's flyweight, so they didn't need her anymore. But weird. She's pretty good. Really nice amateur run. Had a lot of experience. 11-2 amateur records. Impressive. 6-0 pro record. And then she's fighting a Luana Carolina, who's got a tricky Brazilian Muay Thai style. But I think she's going to get outworked in the grappling. I think she's getting controlled. We have seen Carolina look okay in the grappling department. It's not like she's easy to just bully and take down, but I don't see Michelle Montague losing this one. I get it, though. Carolina, 3-fight win streak, and you might be tempted like, oh, well, she's a dog. She got that UFC tenure on her side. True, but I'm looking for a girl to break into the women's top 15. I think Michelle Montague could be that girl. I do not think Luana Carolina is going to do it. So I'm going Montague. I think she'll put it together. Odds for the fight, -210 for Montague to go out and win. It's a fair debut tag for a girl who was undefeated through her MMA career as a pro and in PFL and Bellator. She's a talent to watch. She's definitely a prospect, but, you know, on the lines of top 15 contender with a win here. +180 for Carolina. We need women's bantamweights. We need women's bantamweights with upside. And I think we're looking at a girl with upside. Over 2.5 -155. I might favor the under. I get it. Luana Carolina only has that one submission loss, but all of Montague's wins is subs. I could see her taking Carolina's back. I could see Carolina getting tapped out. So I'm going to lean towards Montague to end up submitting her. It's women's MMA. If they go the full 3, am I sitting here shocked? Absolutely not. But I think the wrestling pace, pressure, and eventual submission will come to fruition for the side of Michelle Montague. I'm going to pick her to go out and beat the UFC vet in Luana Carolina. I'm going Montague. I'm going with the wild one. I'm going with the talent to watch who's undefeated to stay that way. Next fight, we got Jamie Mullarkey versus Rolando Bedoya. Weird battle of, you know, a Jamie Mullarkey who at one point had some real upside in the UFC lightweight division. And then on the other side, Rolando Bedoya, who turned out to be a real busted prospect. I'm going to go with Jamie Mullarkey because I actually think he's better than Bedoya. Better from distance, especially. It's hard to pick Jamie Mullarkey because very live to sell and get caught with something against, you know, anybody at this point until he proves me, you know, otherwise. But what I look at, net positives, I say to myself this. Okay, who did he lose to? He got knocked out by Mauricio Hufi. Say what you want. Yes, Mauricio Hufi looked terrible against BSD, but BSD is a pressure grappler. Jamie Mullarkey, striker, went out there, kickboxed with Rufy and got knocked the fuck out. Nasrat Haqparast, listen, Haqparast is on a roll right now, and he got knocked the fuck out. Shit happens. Close fight, but winner against McDessie, got KO'd against Naimov. That wasn't the best look, but he was winning the fight before getting caught. And then fight before that, he beat up Prado. Kind of similar to this matchup in my mind. Obviously, Bedoya not as short as Prado, but I think Bedoya is a little bit wild. At times, he's a little short on his punches. Even though he's got a 75-inch reach on paper, I swear, man, sometimes I feel like he got short arms. The way he throws his shots, he's very hook-based and like overhand shots, whereas I see Mullarkey catching him with some straights, with some heavy kicks to the body, moving fairly well. The one thing about Mullarkey that I think is a fair gripe, does not move his head much, nor does he throw many feints out there. Kind of, limited offensive attack because of how basic he tends to fight. But I think he's going to be successful catching Bedoya with some good shots. I think that he's going to look decent from range. I think he could crack Bedoya with some hard punch. I think he can mix it up. Jamie Mullarkey at home in Australia, coming off 2 straight losses. It's like, are we ready to just jump off the Mullarkey ship and then go out and pick Bedoya? Bedoya's claim to fame was a close decision loss to Chaos Williams at welterweight. But let's keep it a buck. Chaos Williams has been kind of fraud checked at this point and not near the prospect he once was. I look at Bedoya after the fact, and he gets tuned up by Kenan Song, and then he gets tuned up by Jai Herbert. I think Jamie Mullarkey can beat him in a striking, maybe even a grappling style fight too. I think you could probably take him anywhere the fight goes. I'm just not believing too much in Bedoya. He's a good scrapper. I respect the willingness to engage. He'll rip shots on the inside, but he slaps a lot of his punches, you'll notice. Doesn't seem to have crazy power. Seems to have a good chin. Seems to have, decent heavy leg kick attack. But I think Mullarkey's the better MMA fighter. I think he can land takedowns in the fight. I think he can make it more of a, well-versed MMA match as opposed to just kickboxing if need be. And I think that could be a good strategy. I'm going to lean towards Mullarkey. I think he can get a decision here. I get it. It was close with McDessie, and it was 2 years ago. And I know McDessie might not be like a standout name for people that aren't hardcores, but McDessie's a good fucking striker. So I'll give him some credit for that win. And, say it's controversial, say it's not. He got the W against Michael Johnson, and look how good Michael Johnson's doing right now. I think that there's a fair chance Mullarkey pulls through. And to say I'm just going to jump off Mullarkey's skill set because of the recent losses and then pick a Bedoya who's 0-3 in the UFC, I just can't justify it in my mind. Bedoya was at open a -160 favorite. Mullarkey was a +140 dog, so the line is now collapsed to even money. -110 down the center. Obviously, some love on the betting side from Mullarkey, and I don't think that's crazy because he's, I think, technically more sound than Bedoya and also seems to have more weapons. Bedoya may be better in a brawl, but I feel like Mullarkey could fight smart, and I think he could land hard. He's still got some power. -175 for the over 2.5. Possible. I lean yes. I lean Mullarkey decision. I don't think he's getting chinned again. And you know what? A year and 4 months off for him was a good look. Also, a year and 1 month off for Bedoya. Both guys taking layoffs. But for Mullarkey, he needed it, man. After getting his chin cracked, within 6 months of one another badly, I think it was good that he took a step back, took some time to rest and recover. And I think he can come into this fight with a renewed sense of confidence. And I like that it's in his home country. I think that helps him a bit to go out and comfortably throw some heat. And I'm going to favor the Australian at home. I'm going Jamie Mullarkey. I think he can turn back the clock. I think he can get a win in this one. Let's keep going. Next fight on the card. Colby Thicknesse versus Josias Musasa. I'm going to pick Thicknesse to go out and win against Musasa. Musasa's debut was definitely a lot worse. Thicknesse took a big chance stepping in on short notice to fight big brother Topuria Alexandre. And even though he clearly lost the fight, I think it made me, ponder the idea, is Topuria just not anything of his brother's level? Is he a lot more diminished? Or is it that Colby Thicknesse is actually a pretty blue chip prospect? Is it that Colby Thicknesse training with Volkanovski has got a decent skill set? Whereas Josias Musasa, I was not blown away pre-tape before he fought Tanzalovi on Contender Series last year. All right. And then he goes out and wins a split decision there. Then he comes in the UFC and they give him a fight that seems like a setup. He gets high kicked and then choked out by Carlos Vera. It was a bad debut. If Musasa goes out and whoops Colby Thicknesse's ass, I'm really going to start having questions around Alexandre Topuria. So for the sake of Alexandre Topuria as well, you hope Colby Thicknesse goes out and lives up to some type of potential that seems to be there. Because I feel like he's got a pretty well-rounded game. He's smooth in all areas. I wouldn't say he's exceptional. I'm not like, I don't want to say I'm not blown away. I'm not trying to knock on the dude. I mean, he trains with Volk, but I feel like he's more technically proficient than a Musasa, but Musasa, power hitter, aggressive, explosive, very athletic, natural athlete, physically a strong guy. Seems to have, a bit more of the death touch, whereas Thicknesse seems to have a better fight IQ, better shot picking ability, comfortable in both stances. And I like heavy kicks to the body, mixing in some takedowns and a submission threat. I think that Colby Thicknesse can win on a full camp. Again, another guy from Australia I'm going with. I think at home in Australia helps him as well. I think that he wins. I feel like Musasa can make it a fight. I don't know about, him getting first round sub like he did last time with Vera. Though Thicknesse has a legit ass submission game though. I'm going to lean towards Thicknesse winning on the scorecards. But you know what? As I say it, I could see Musasa getting choked out again with some stupid shit. Like he gets over aggressive, he gets his back took, then he gets choked. I think Slickness Thicknesse can win the sophomore appearance. I think he grows from the Topuria fight, and I'm going to say he gets the hand raised. I think he can get past the Musasa puzzle. I feel like he can avoid the big bombs. I'm going against the KO wizard here. I like the other side. Thicknesse is a dog at plus 125. I don't get it, though. He opened up at plus 250. Shit. I don't know. Why would Musasa be this big of a favorite? Coming in at 3-1 at open. If it opened at the line it's at now, I would say that makes more sense to me. But I don't get why you put a Musasa at 3-1. Like, it's not like he absolutely destroyed. If he would have destroyed Tanzalovi, knocked him out in the first round, but like, all right, like maybe, and then he lost the debut. Okay, but I'm like doubtful of his game. I think Thicknesse passes the test. I'm going with Thicknesse as the underdog here, man. The mustache power. I think he wins his sophomore appearance in the UFC. I think Team Volkanovski's got a winner, and I can't get it to scroll over. That's annoying. Over 2.5, minus 145. Over 1.5, minus 260. I say yes to both, but over 1.5, minus 260 is not bad if you're looking to like just add it into a parlay or something of that magnitude. But I think Colby Thicknesse to beat the KO wizard. I think Musasa gets over aggressive, gets taken down a bit. I think there's competitive scrambles, but I think the more slick grappler is Thicknesse. I think the more technical striker is Thicknesse. But when you got a heavy-handed guy, if he lands big, shit can change fast. But Alexandre Topuria can crack. And I feel like Thicknesse looked tough in that one. So I'm going to go with Thicknesse for the dubs. I think he can get his hand raised. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got Andre Petroski versus Cam Rowston. Bingo, Australia again. I think Cam Rowston's going to win. And I get it. People are using MMA math for a second. And not traditionally, but they're saying wrestler, Torres Finney, blanket, and just absolutely grapple fucks Cam Rowston over a year ago. And then bingo, he loses to Petroski. I don't believe that to necessarily be true. I don't. I think Cam Rowston took a big chance jumping in and stepping up to fight against Torres Finney. Obviously, Torres Finney, he had a bit of a letdown contender series season, but ended up, eventually getting the contract. But like, if you guys remember this, Torres Finney here had fought on contender series, right? One time the year before, then they bring him in to fight Cam Rowston, and then he goes out, gets the finish, comes back. He had that contender series experience. He was comfortable out there. And the stylistic matchup was like, all right, let me just hold him down. I mean, Cam Rowston, at the very least, prevented Finney from getting signed to the UFC, and he had some moments on the feet. It's not like there was damage done by Finney either. He literally just grapple fucked him. He was a blanket. He was a fucking heavy-ass blanket. And you know what? Cam Rowston, his ground game's not bad. Torres Finney's a freak. Now, to give some respect, Petroski is a good wrestler too. Different style of wrestling, though. I don't think Petroski's as good as the, smotherer in Finney in some ways, but I think he's better on the feet. But I think that Rowston would prefer to strike with a Torres Finney or Petroski as opposed to grappling with either, of course. The thing about Petroski is he can get gun shy. If you start having a little striking success and you push him on the back foot, he tends to struggle when he's not the bully in these matchups. And I think Rowston can back him up. I think Rowston can stop some takedowns. I think Rowston can land some big combinations. I think he can attack the legs with some heavy kicks, attack the body too. I think Cam Rowston's striking flow is pretty legit here in this matchup. And I think his grappling defense is sound too. Where I look at Petroski, and it's like, okay, he did have a nice 3-fight win streak. He beat Josh Fremd, very control-based decision. Same with Dylan Budka. And then he out-kickboxed Adolfo Vieira. I get it, though. You know, oh, shit, Vieira's striking look good against Trey Shangor, but who is Trey Shangor really, you know? And then last time, I mean, Edmund Shabazian completely shut down his game. Andre Petroski, at times, he looks like he doesn't really show up, but it's not that he's not showing up. It's just certain styles, right? Styles that are going to force him into more of a striking fight and then land offensive attacks from a more mid and long range. He struggles with. Petroski can mix it up a little bit in the pocket, but I don't think he's all that good of a striker. I mean, Petroski has a bit of power in his hands. He does like to rip big hooks and overhand shots, but he's not polished in the stand-up. It's really grappling his bread and butter. And I don't think he's just taking down and running over Cam Rowston. I get it. It's easy to pick it. Oh, but Petroski's competed in grappling. He's this, he's that. I think in an MMA fight, Rowston's able to stop the takedowns. And if he does get taken down, I think he can find ways back up to the feet. I think Rowston's going to be able to touch up Petroski on the feet. I can see Petroski getting wobbled. I can see Petroski getting hurt in this fight. I'm going to go towards Cam Rowston to pull through. How does he get it done? I think about the matchup. I may be leaning towards on the cards. I like the skillful kickboxing and capable grappling as opposed to the more power bombing punches from Petroski with a decent ground game. Definitely some submission threats, but like also an unreliability on finishing fights, also an unreliability on hitting the key takedowns. I just think Petroski, how do I describe him? I don't want to say he's an underperformer, but like if you can start touching him from range, you can start succeeding. And I could see Rowston putting Petroski on the back foot, hurting him with some shots. I'm going to go with Rowston to get the hand raised. I think Petroski is a little too wild in the striking realm, and I think that Rowston can counter. I think Petroski's got the intimidation factor, but if Rowston isn't intimidated, which I don't think he will, I think he'll find some success in this matchup. And I'm going to go with the City Kickboxing protege to pull through against Petroski. And I think he can do it potentially on a judge's scorecards or maybe with a heavy shot into a combination. He's got good subs, but him subbing, you know, the more ground specialist Petroski is a hard pick for me to make, you know? Minus 151 for Petroski. I agree with him being the favorite. At open, he was minus 220, so it's come down a bit. Plus 131 for Rowston. I like Rowston. I picked him to win as an underdog on Contender Series this season. I thought he was an obvious underdog, and then he went out and got a first-round KO. I feel like his stand-up is legit. I like that he's in Australia fighting. Like, there's a lot of net positives that I'm seeing for Rowston. Then a matchup against Petroski, who's really a lot of the times a blanket too, like Finney, but maybe not as good at it and more hittable on the feet and has shown more signs of wilt when big strikes land. I'm going to go Rowston. Over minus 131. Not crazy about it. I think Rowston's live for a KO or a decision. It depends how Petroski responds to like a big shot. Depends if he can hit a takedown. Depends what Rowston's mentality is. If it has to be technical, it definitely could be 3 rounds of technical work. But I like Cam Rowston. I like his length. I like his kickboxing. I like his grappling defense. I like his timing on his shots. Picks his punches and kicks pretty well. Definitely has a danger threat to him with underrated submissions. 7 wins by sub. So you could see Petroski gets caught and then choked out. Club and sub is live too. I don't see why Rowston is not a great underdog pick. I'm picking him. I'm going Cam Rowston. I see it as such. Next fight on the card, we have Jonathan Micallef versus Oban Elliott. Oh, the Welsh gangster. The Welsh gangster went down against Suk Hyun Ko last fight. And I think Suk Hyun Ko is a really good prospect. And in my mind, leading up to this, before digging deeper, I was like, can he get through Micallef? But then going back and rewatching, I'm like, nah, man. Micallef is good. I'm picking Micallef to win. I think Micallef is actually a pretty solid prospect. He's got really good length, 6 foot, but a 77-inch reach. Got long-ass arms. Good striker from southpaw from the outside. He's dangerous with his onslaught, man. He's not like a crazy power hitter, but he's really dangerous with that left leg, throws nasty kicks up high. And even if the kick is not to necessarily knock you out, obviously, if it lands flush, it could. But if that's not the intent behind it, it could also just fumble the rhythm of Oban, force him to think about the attack, open up body shots too. I like Micallef striking from distance. I like his straight shots. I think he's just a little more precise, a little more gifted naturally with timing. Watching Oban Elliott fight again, and then I went back. I'm like, all right, let me just re-see it. The Preston Parsons fight where I picked him as an underdog, right? And a lot of people doubted it. And he won, and he was like, wow, you know, he did so good in that matchup. Then you really think about where is Preston Parsons' level compared to a Jonathan Micallef? It's not there. Okay, Basil Efes, but it's like, okay, he beat up Basil Efes, but what is Basil Efes? A big moment against Jack Della when he was not in, the testing pool and he came through, he looked great. And then Mickey Gall and him in a kind of close fight to then him getting chinned by Oban. And then Oban gets absolutely dominated by Seok-Yoon Ko, and he got like bodied on the ground. He could do nothing. I just think Micallef is going to give him a lot of trouble in all areas. Jiu-jitsu wise too, Micallef is slick on the mat, man. He's got good BJJ. He's confident with his jiu-jitsu. If you get him down, I mean, he can play the bottom game. Not saying I necessarily recommend it, but I think he can use his legs to get back up to the feet as well. He's deceptive in all areas. And with the length advantage, I think he's a little bit quicker too than Oban Elliott. I think Micallef is about to take this decision home, man. I'm sleeping on Oban this time. I can't convince myself of it. He would have to overperform to what I think he can do in a matchup against a solid prospect like Micallef. I got to favor the Micallef side. I think he can beat the Welsh gangster. Obviously, Oban Elliott wants to snap things back on track here. I think Micallef's a hard guy to do it against. The odds for the fight, Micallef and Oban, pretty much even. Slight underdog, Micallef. I agree with even odds here. At open, Oban Elliott sat at a slight favorite, minus 130. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me. And that's saying a lot about Micallef, though. In his debut, he looked skillful against Kevin Josias. I picked him as a big underdog there as well. So I've picked both these guys in dog spots in the past. Both come through. Micallef, something screams he has more. Something screams more to offer, more technically sound. I like his strikes from distance better. I like his kicks better. I think he's faster with his hands. I think he's more precise. I like his reach advantage. I like his jiu-jitsu better. I don't think Oban is his beastly wrestler. How does he beat Micallef? I think he ends up taking an L. I'm going Micallef to take it home. I'm going Micallef for the dubs. Over 2.5, minus 235. I would say pretty live to go into the later stages. Micallef does have 3 sub wins, 2 KOs, 3 decisions, so a multitude of facets. And then Oban, I mean, obviously the recent loss to Ko goes the full 3. He's been knocked out twice before, but long time ago in Cage Warriors. I don't think he's chinny or anything like that. And I don't think Micallef is necessarily like this crazy power puncher. He's more good, precise attack from long range. I'm going to say Jonathan Micallef getting his hand raised. I'll pick him on the scorecards. I think he outworks Oban, and I think he outlands him on the feet and out positions him if they hit the ground. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. The ladies going after it here. We have Loma Lookboonmee versus Alexia Thainara. I'm going to go with Thainara. I think she wins. I like Loma Lookboonmee, and she's on a real slick 4-fight win streak, like quietly making waves. Has not fought in 5 months. And against Estela Nunes, of the bunch of wins she had, I thought by far this was like her worst performance. Obviously, Estela Nunes is deceptively good. Like, if you just look at Estela Nunes' record, you're like, yo, she's trash, but she's actually a pretty sharp striker. So I can see why in a battle of Muay Thai and, Muay Thai-esque kickboxing, the game was, kind of close. But ultimately, Loma still secures a W, gets it done. But I think in that fight, it made me believe that fighting another girl that can crack a bit on the feet like Thainara, who's got that Brazilian Thai style with a good rhythm to her stand-up. She's got a good bounce. She's like always staying moving. I like the way she throws big power overhands. She's got nasty low kicks, and she's good on the ground. Amanda Ribas prospect, man. 27 years of age, 12-1 as a pro. Looked like a monster on Contender Series. Absolutely destroyed Molly Meatballs in her UFC debut. I think she's good. Thainara is fun to watch. I like her style. I feel like she could be a contender, honestly. Yeah, she's one to watch, man. This women's strawweight division is in this interesting lull period with Jandaroba and Dern fighting for the belt. Something screams to me there's going to be better talent on the come up. And 27-year-old right here with a lot of upside, a Hebos family prospect, I think she could be that upside. And I think she can go out and win. Lookboonmee's kicks are fucking nasty, though. And I want to speak respect to Lookboonmee. Punch speed, crazy. Rips nice straight shot combos into the kicks. Like when she's in punching range, she can let some shit fly. She's got very seasoned Muay Thai. Very seasoned Muay Thai. She's really good on the feet. But I think Thainara's striking is good as well with power and explosiveness and natural athleticism with 6.5-inch reach advantage and with a superior ground skill set. I think those elements of the fight are going to be too much of a mountain to climb for the side of Loma Lookboonmee to go out and pick her. I'm going to say Thainara is going out and winning. Does she put her away? Lookboonmee is hard to finish off. Lookboonmee's good, man. She got submitted one time years ago. I know the ground skills of Thainara are sharp. She got 8 sub wins. Shit, if she subs Lookboonmee, I'm like, yo, fast tracker right now. But I think any victory against Lookboonmee is quite impressive. I mean, her last loss is literally Lupi Godinez, who's top 10. I think Thainara could end up putting Lookboonmee in compromised spots on the ground. But I don't know. Lookboonmee, very difficult to tap. You know, she got those shorter limbs, does a decent job of defending. I think Thainara on the cards does make some sense, but she could end up showing out and strangling Lookboonmee. If she drops Lookboonmee and then chokes her out, the sky is the limit for Thainara is really what I'm saying. I think Lookboonmee is good. I think Lookboonmee is a strong top 20 women's strawweight, but I just don't think that she can stop Thainara. I think the momentum on this girl is too much. I think Lookboonmee ultimately struggles in a matchup here. I think Thainara, explosiveness, grappling skill, power in her hands, size advantage, a lot of net positives that I just like too much to pick against her. I'm going with Thainara, and I think she's living up to the hype here against Lookboonmee. Now, she's a bit of a favorite here, minus 235, Lookboonmee plus 200. That shows, though. That's respect on Thainara's line. Like, she's blue chip as hell. Money going down on it because it was minus 150 at open, plus 200 Lookboonmee on the other side. Lookboonmee's game. It's just, I really think Thainara's got that thing about her. Over 2.5, minus 245, maybe, but I think sub is possible. Sub is not out of the realm of possibility. 8 wins by submission for Thainara is no joke. I'm thinking about this women's strawweight division, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, damn. It's almost like I'd be on the potential side of Lookboonmee has easier matchups against some of these like high-ranked vets as opposed to the blue chip prospect. Like Thainara is just, that's a rough matchup for a 4-fight winning streak Lookboonmee. I feel like if you're in the known, you know about how good Thainara is, right? But if you're not, right, you haven't been following the Contender Series, you didn't watch her debut, or maybe, you know, you just forgot about it, something like that, it can be overlooked how big of a prospect she is. Like, she is that girl to watch from Brazil right now. She can do everything incredibly well and seems to be a bit of a freak athlete. I got to go towards her. I'm going Thainara, and I think she looks pretty damn good doing it. I'm picking that side. Let's keep running. Let's get to the featured prelim of the night, a fight that I am real excited about. Navajo Stirling versus Adolfo Bellato. I'm picking the side of Navajo Stirling to go out and win. I like Navajo's striking a lot. Now, some will mention he had, you know, a little bit of trouble with the grappling a bit of Tokos in Tampa last year on the final card of 2024. Still went out and got a clear decision. Still was able to perform and win. But yes, that's a factor. It was a UFC debut, and fair, octagon jitters got to him. I think he looked better against a better fighter in Erslan. Against Ivan Erslan, he showed his slick striking is legit. He showed some grappling too. He had Erslan badly hurt in that 3rd round. Towards the end of the fight, he had Erslan hurt terribly. Nasty elbows to his punches, dropping them. Navajo Stirling is clean on the feet with good timing. He's a 7-0 prospect, a city kickboxing protege, another one on this card. And I like his game a lot. When I look at Adolfo Bellato, think of the plotting power hitter, the aggressiveness, good strength, right? But when you really dig into it, when you go back, watch Ihor Potieria box his face off and drop him. Navajo Stirling is of a different level than that, and I'm seeing him get hit there. Jimmy Crute dropped him. Obviously, Jimmy Crute's got some power in the grappling in round one early, threw off Bellato to then get dropped later in that round. And then Bellato fought hard to come back and, close enough and then ends up getting a draw there. But he could have lost the second round. Regardless, though, Bellato is game. But I think when you have a tactician in Navajo Stirling with knockout ability, a more berserking pressure style that Bellato brings, I think it's exposed in a fight like this. I think Bellato, simply put, too hittable. Really, it's defensive awareness is not his strong suit. And I really think fight IQ better on the young Navajo Stirling side. Timing of his shots better on the young Navajo Stirling side. Precision on his shots better on the young Navajo Stirling side. Navajo Stirling is a crisp stand-up fighter. And I really think he's going to open Bellato up in all ranges as well. Navajo Stirling is not just a guy that has to be at distance. In close range, where Bellato loves to fight, he squares up and he leaves vulnerabilities. It just takes a guy with clean technique on elbows to really exploit that. And I think Navajo can cut up Bellato with elbows on the inside. I think he can land good strikes from range, nasty kicks to the calf, good straight shots down the center. I think he can force Bellato to chase him and counter him. I think this is Navajo Stirling time. Now, of course, you saw the UFC debut. You saw the sophomore appearance, and he hadn't got the knockout, but he got close late against Ivan Erslan. I'm going to say this time, he puts Bellato away. Bellato has been knocked out before. 2 losses to Vitor Petrino by KO, Contender Series and outside of the UFC. The draw with Jimmy Crute where he was dropped against Potieria, and technically he was dropped against Paul Craig last fight, which was a no contest where he essentially faked it. An illegal up kick came in that touched the chin, and Bellato goes from complaining to the ref to passing out and then pretending to be having some type of seizure. I don't understand the gamesmanship there. I think it was a mistake on his part, substantial one, and now he's paying the price, getting matched up with a nasty, nasty stand-up fighter. Nasty and good takedown defense. Navo's good. Navo is good. Bellato's aggressive. Bellato's strong, but he's going to be hit too much. Defensive awareness, like I said, not a strong suit. Fight IQ better on the Stirling side. Navo's gas tank looks good too. I think Navajo Stirling, he's got an edge in majority of areas. I would say Bellato's better at jiu-jitsu than him, purely at that. But I don't think Bellato's just powering his way into takedowns and bullying Stirling. I think Bellato's getting caught with some big shots. And I think Navajo Stirling is getting a KO. I'm going Stirling by knockout. I think he puts Bellato away. Now, to be fair, you can say Bellato definitely not a guy to quit on himself. But then the Paul Craig fight happens. I always spoke about it. I say, yo, even look, how bad did he want it against Crute? Then this happens. So I have no fucking idea with Bellato at this point. But I know he's getting punched hard, kicked hard, and probably elbowed hard in the face, maybe kneed hard in the stomach. And I think Navajo Stirling is just too dangerous with all weapons in the stand-up department and too sound defensively with takedown defense. Navajo Stirling should go out and look pretty damn good. He's a minus 220 favorite here with Adolfo Bellato as a plus 185 underdog. I like his side. Over 1.5, minus 175. I mean, it's a maybe. We could see Bellato caught and put out earlier. If Stirling times a check hook, like there's so many shots he's going to be able to land on Bellato. I think Bellato might get his light shut off bad here. I'm going Navajo Stirling. I'm going KO. And I'm damn excited for the 3rd UFC fight. I really think with Navajo, you saw the debut was a little testy, but he wins. Then he looks better against Erslan. I think this is his best performance. And 3rd fight within a year. Really, it's 3rd fight within like 9 months. Fought Tokos in December of last year. Back again. Staying incredibly active to start this UFC career off. I like it. Stand-up game, too slick. Grappling defense, too sound. City kickboxing got a winner again. I'm going Navajo for the W. Let's jump to our main card opener. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe it up. We got Louis Sutherland versus Justin Tafa in true heavyweight madness here. I'm going with the side of Sutherland to get the win. I watched a good amount of Sutherland tape to try and get the best understanding I could of this unknown, right? It's not really like he's an unknown. I mean, he's a decent prospect. He's 10-3. He fought in, PFL tour at one point too. But looking at his game, what I saw and what I gathered is okay, he's a strong striker with a patient attack. Obviously, loves the big knockout. He hits hard for sure, but he can out kickbox people in a more technical manner as well. Has heavy low kicks, has solid movement, especially for a big 265 pounder. He moves pretty fast. And I think there's some good technicality to his striking. In close range, physically, he's strong. I mean, the guy's got a freaky build on him, too. He's very fucking like fat boy, thick jacked. I don't know how to describe it. Like, he got like a strongman build. That's the best way to describe him. Strength on the inside is legit. Cage smother, legit. Takedown threat, certainly there. And from top position, he's got some ground and pound and some good control. On the other side, you got a power hitter in Justin Tafa. He's got knockout ability. We know that about Justin Tafa. He is the essence of land, and that's it. Now, on the opposite front of it, though, Sutherland could put his lights out because Justin Tafa, I'd say his chin is got knocked out against Jorgen De Castro in the debut, badly chinned. Last fight against Ellison Teixeira quickly. Obviously, there was a low shot that came in and, some controversy to it, but still, the chin got cracked. Smaller heavyweight as far as height and reach goes, but he does have, the 266 build. Guy can miss weight for sure. I think that the side of Sutherland is going to be too well-versed. And I don't think he's just getting caught with something and slept. I think Sutherland got a good chin on him. And you look at these freaky-ass fucking traps. I think Sutherland's got a well-versed game. I think he could mix in takedowns. He could control from top. If he had to embrace the grind, I think Sutherland by a decision is not a crazy take at all. I do think he's got enough finishing ability to potentially get a stoppage. But to go out and win on the scorecards against a Tafa that has a clear flaw in his grappling, I don't think that's crazy at all. Sutherland has technically more skills, I believe. I think he's more well-versed on the ground, certainly. And in the striking department, I see patience. Yes, Tafa has big one-shot power. I just don't see Sutherland getting shin like that. I'm going with Louis Sutherland. I like decision or KO. I think both are live. There's a chance. Of course, the big boy's getting a knockout, but on the flip side of it, like I could see Sutherland control-based. I could see him technically outpointing Tafa, landing takedowns, backing him up against the cage. This could end up being more of a technical heavyweight fight than you might think just looking at the two of them. I think Sutherland, nonetheless, getting the hand raised, going out with a clean win against Tafa. I'm picking the side of Sutherland to do business here and to handle it. Now, he is sitting at plus 100, another underdog. A lot of dogs on this card I'm picking. I think Sutherland's a good prospect. Tafa, minus 120, the favorite. At open, he was minus 150, so line has only changed a little bit. Over 1.5, minus 150. I kind of lean yes on the over 1.5. I really could see these two going 3. But there is the, 260 plus pound man on both sides. We got over 500 pounds in the fucking octagon. One big shot from either one of them, it could end up meaning lights out. But I'm going to go with the upside of Sutherland. I'm going to go with the upside of the PFL Tour veteran. I think that I think Louis can do it. I think he can beat a Justin Tafa. Tafa, he really is just knockout or bust. I can't pick that side. I can't pick a knockout or bust side. I think Sutherland, well-versed with movement, deceptively quick, good ground game too. MMA skills are just better. And I think Scotland needs one now, okay? So I'm going with the Scottish talent. I'm going with the Vanilla Gorilla. I'm going Louis Sutherland in Australia to take out Justin Tafa, the local favorite. Next fight on the card, Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. I'm picking Tom Nolan to go out and win. Yeah, I think Tom Nolan can do it, guys. I feel as though the side of Campbell, power hitter, aggressive attack, and definitely dangerous, but I don't know, man. Tom Nolan, it's like, it's so fucking easy to be like, oh, well, Alex Reyes, he went distance against. Oh, well, he got dropped here. Oh, well, he got knocked out here. He had a pretty decisive win over Slava, where he showcased really sound technical striking abilities and good defense. I feel like Campbell, he was in kind of a toss him up back and forth with Peak most recently. Hasn't fought since that Trevor Peak fight, which was a year and 5 months ago. On the other side, within that time, we got 3 fights for Tom Nolan. I feel like Tom Nolan's starting to put it together. I mean, he had a terrible debut. violently chinned by Nicholas Moda. But to be fair, on Contender Series, Chris Duncan violently chinned Charlie Campbell. So, let's just keep it a buck. Obviously, Campbell had a big moment early and whatnot. But still, truth is, I feel like Tom Nolan's stand-up is good. His jab is real sharp. I think he's better from distance, more precise with his straight shots. Pretty fast down the center, too, with the 1-2. Uses legs well, good leg kicks, good teeps. Ground game is there, good takedowns, good submission threats. Obviously, Campbell on the other side, he's well-versed. He's a real power hitter, though. He's aggressive as fuck, but year and a half off, I don't love. I don't love a layoff like that. And then not only is it a year and a half off, he's taking this fight on short notice. He's the fill-in, okay? Originally, Evan Elder was supposed to fight Tom Nolan. Charlie Campbell jumping in. Big chance, for sure. Flying across the world. Not like he took it on a week's notice. It was several weeks' notice. He had some time. But still not full camp versus full camp. Activity versus not activity. Nolan showing signs of improvement. Charlie Campbell competitive with Trevor Peek in a wild back and forth. I think Tom Nolan is just simply too skillful. And I'm going with the more skillful fighter. I'm going with Tom Nolan. I think Nolan is live to end up knocking Charlie Campbell out. But I also think he could be live to go out and submit him too. Now, obviously, he's got no wins by sub. But with those long arms, I mean, he's not like he got the craziest reach. With those skinny arms, does have deceptively good front headlock positioning. No Gilly yet, but, maybe adds to it. I think that Tom Nolan is better than Charlie Campbell. Watching them both strike, I'm like, okay, Nolan minds his P's and Q's more, whereas Campbell gets over aggressive on the onslaught for KO. Campbell may have more pure punch power, but I think Nolan also has better precision, and precision equals the power as well. So, at the end of the day, precision beats power. Timing beats speed. I'm going with Tom Nolan to get a W in this one. Minus 150, the favorite status. I agree with him being the favorite. Over 2.5 is plus 125. Possible for a decision, but with the aggressive attack of Campbell and him coming in on short notice, I definitely think Tom Nolan KO is a real possibility. Showing signs of improvement each and every time. I say what you want, man. I like the Slava win for him. I like Tom Nolan. I think he's pretty damn good. Is incredibly skinny to be 6'3" at lightweight, and seems to be that those type of guys can break to the top 15, but they tend to fall out beforehand. I guess we'll see with Yoel Alvarez if he sticks around, but it just seems to be like almost too damn tall, 6'3" in the lightweight division. But definitely problems, on the side of Campbell coming his way with the striking from range with Nolan, with the well-versed game, with the defensive awareness. I just think Tom Nolan's pretty sharp, and I think he's going to go out and win. So Tom Nolan to get it done, to beat Charlie Campbell. That's going to be my prediction here. Next fight on the card, we got Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. I'm picking Jake Matthews. I feel like Neil Magny could give him a run for his money, but I still think Jake Matthews is going to win. But I must say, the gambling side of the community is definitely looking at it saying, bro, plus 335 Magny, what the fuck? I agree. What the fuck? Should Neil Magny be a plus 335 dog here? No. I think a 2-1 favorite, Jake Matthews, who's riding a 3-fight win streak, is incredibly fair. But when you look at Jake Matthews' skill set, like, he is pretty good, man. Like, he's solid everywhere. His boxing is good. He's got power in his shots. What I like about Jake Matthews is he keeps his head moving, and when he's in close range, he's got a powerful overhand. He's got a powerful left hook. But on top of it, though, he'll rip multiple punches in close range with good speed on them and with good accuracy. Like, when he lets these flurries fly in punching range, it's pretty technically sound and accurate. Like, it's not like he's just flailing wild shit. It's still under like a fine-tuned boxing set, which I like to see for a Jake Matthews. 31, been in the UFC forever at this point, and really seems to be coming into his own now. Great shape. Physically, he's strong. He's got power in his hands. He can rip heavy shots. I mean, he's good to go a hard three. He's coming off massive win over Chidi Bang Bang. Tapped him out in a minute, which was crazy to go out and beat Enja Kawani like no problem, a little over 2 months ago. Fight before that, beat Prado, a tough customer in Prado, but a clear win. Fight before that, a good 3-rounder, but a clear win for him, cracking Phil Rowe with some big shots and pulling through against Phil Rowe, who's a good boxer. And majority of the fight, it was more of a kickboxing match. And Phil Rowe is a sharp puncher. Phil Rowe's got a nasty jab. He's got crazy long reach, and he knows how to use it. I like Phil Rowe. And for him to go out and handle Rowe, who had a massive reach advantage, and now here again, fighting a guy with a massive height and reach advantage and a Neil Magny who doesn't box to the same level as Rowe. Obviously, Neil Magny beat Phil Rowe a few years ago, but let's keep it a buck. That fight was a coin flip decision at the end. I thought Phil Rowe could have got it, and Magny really, he uses the clinch well, and he's good at, wearing on the folks, right? Holding them against, popping the shots to the knee, the knees to the body, right? Little punches on the inside. He'll rough you up. He makes it dirty. He'll throw pump, pump, jab, jab, move inside, pressure you, back you up. It's more of volume, leg kicks, and then volume, and back you up against the cage, and hold you there. Neil Magny is a high-pace fighter. He's a high-volume fighter, but he doesn't have a finishing touch with the hands, really. If he's going to get a knockout, it's more of a volume accumulation normally, but he ended up chinning Zaleski with, technically he didn't knock him out, but he hurt him on the inside with the knees and then beat him up with ground and pound. It kind of got zapped by some knees, but got a knockout there. And then on the ground finish Malott. Like, he's got KOs, but they're ground and pound finishes. It's not like Magny is this power hitting boxer. He's more so beating people up on the ground after they wear themselves to nothing. He got dominated against Mike Malott, came back and won, and was losing to Zaleski, who came back and beat him. So I respect the ability to turn shit around and the never say die attitude Magny has. But at 38, I have to favor a Jake Matthews who's putting it all together. A Jake Matthews who's good in all areas. A Jake Matthews who's sharper with his striking, who's got good cardio to mix it up for 3 hard rounds, and who has a legit chance of hurting Neil as well. I could see Jake Matthews dropping him. I'm going Matthews. I think decision is live for sure. But he could end up clipping Magny and putting him out. Obviously, Magny's losses in hindsight, Pratis is a monster, Morales is a monster, and Ian Gary is a monster. But he got fucked up in all 3 of those fights. And all of his recent wins are fights he's losing. And I mean, even digging back to the Phil Rowe fight, my take is I thought he could have lost that damn fight. So I really think that this is timing for Matthews. And it's a good amount of, precision timing by the matchmakers to do it now. Because Matthews is as good as he's ever been. Whereas on the flip side, I cannot say that about Neil. I don't think he's as good as he's ever been. Jake Matthews to win. Matthews is a minus 405 favorite. I already spoke upon it. Yes, he's a huge favorite, but I think he wins as a big favorite. Over 2.5, minus 145. He's got a knockout chance. I mean, his submission game is live too. I like Jake Matthews. I think he's starting to really put it together. I think he might get a chance to fight into the top 15. I don't know if he's going to break into the top 15. I don't know if he's going to be making waves in the top 15. I don't think so. But what I do think is he beats Neil Magny this Saturday. And yes, the odds are wide. But that doesn't mean don't pick him. So Matthews to get it done. The prediction from me. Next fight on the card. Featured fight. Light heavyweights. Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan. This was a fight that I was tossing and turning on. I spent a lot of time on this fight. I'm going to go with Jimmy Crute, but I wrote down this. Tricky, feels like a toss-up. Because of Ivan Erslan's punching power. Even though I know you have not seen it if you're only watching UFC fights, I know. But Erslan can fucking box a bit. Erslan has a nasty hook. Erslan's got a dangerous uppercut. Erslan's a good overhand. He has knockout ability. It's just inside of the UFC, he's yet to showcase it. Ultimately, I think that Jimmy Crute is a superior grappler, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But the problem with Jimmy Crute, if he is unsuccessful in grappling, and Erslan's takedown defense is not bad. Erslan is sound enough. If it is forced into a stand-up fight, I think Jimmy Crute gets caught. Because the problem I have with Jimmy Crute is he will overcommit to his power shots. Yes, if he lands, it hits hard. But I don't see him chinning Erslan, really. I can see him overthrowing, getting tired, and getting knocked out. So what I will propose to the gambling side of the people here, watch that first round. If you don't want to bet it, I would say just stay away and chill. But if you are like, I want to bet this fight, maybe play it live. See how Jimmy Crute fares early. Does Jimmy Crute take down Erslan, beat him up, take his back, choke him out early? Okay, you weren't meant to throw that on the favorite then. But does he attack? Does he win the first round? Does he start fatiguing? Does Erslan stop a little bit of the takedowns later in the round? Because then I think Jimmy Crute's in trouble come round 2 and 3 because he slows down, especially if he has big success early like he did with Bellato. And I'll say this, Erslan is more of a precise boxer than a Rodolfo Bellato. Bellato is a berserker pressure brawler, and he's got decent kickboxing, but Erslan has a more clean boxing onslaught. His boxing skills are more fine-tuned. It's just, I think Crute has a clear advantage in grappling, clear threat of a submission. Younger guy, coming off a big win. He looked fucking good against Prochnio. I'm going to stick with Jimmy Crute. I'm going to go with him. But there is a side of me that always has worry with Crute, but especially in a matchup against an Erslan who's looking to finally get it right. He's 0-2 in the UFC. He gave a decent fight to Crute Laba. It was not a split. He lost for sure. But, you know, he gave a competitive run to Crute Laba, and he won the third round. Navo Stirling nearly knocked him out in the third round. 4 months ago. He took a lot of damage, to be fair. Now he turns around, comes back, fights Jimmy Crute. Different style than Navo. Not a kickboxer, a power hitter in Jimmy Crute, but a grappler, a good grappler. The worry with Crute is gas tank woes and failing on takedowns, getting over aggressive in the striking, and getting counter shot KO. I can see it in my head. So the gambling side, do with that information as you wish. But, you know, I think you could look at it from a live perspective if you're trying to throw down on this one. And that might be something to do. Now, minus 175 is not a crazy tag for Jimmy Crute at all. Plus 150 for Erslan. The odds are very reasonable in a matchup like this. Over 1.5 minus 130. I think it's live to go over 1.5. And it's not that Crute couldn't win a decision. I do think he's going to be on point with some takedowns. It's just the worry is if he has great success early, he blows his wad. Or if the takedowns start failing, let's say he wins the first 2 dominantly, but round 3, the takedowns are failing, the gas tank is dwindling, and now Erslan's coming on strong, and he starts landing some shots. We've seen Crute's lights shut off in the past. So, got to just speak truth. There's some worry with Crute, but I'll pick Jimmy Crute to win. I think he can end up getting it done. I think submission is live for him here against Ivan Erslan. I definitely think he could choke him out. And to be fair, I mean, he's got good arm bars. He's got good Kimuras. Like, Jimmy Crute can kind of do it all submission-wise. And I think he's going to be a lot quicker in the ground skills, like transition speed, positional control, just slickness as far as grappling goes. Jimmy Crute is better. It's just the stand-up worries me a bit because he gets a little wild. And that wild shit, that over-aggressiveness, you don't necessarily pay. I mean, he did against Jamal Hill, but you don't necessarily pay round 1. It falls apart round 2 and 3. And that's when Erslan can come on strong. He showed it against Crute Laba winning that third round. So just some, you know, reasonable concern. But the pick is going to be Jimmy Crute to go out and win. I say submission is live for him. I'll say he keeps the momentum going. But Ivan Erslan, you got to think he's a fucking hungry underdog. Because he knows he loses, he's probably out of the UFC. I don't know. They might keep him around. 0-3, light heavyweight. We got heavyweight, fucking light heavyweight. Fucking just keep him at this point. But I'm going to go with Crute. We'll see what happens. Worry is that chin. Worry is that gas tank. Co-main. Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Taveras. Listen, respect to Ramon taking this fight up in weight, moving from bantamweight to the featherweight division. But damn, Jack Jenkins, co-main event in Australia, is definitely a Jack Jenkins chance to shine, okay? Jack Jenkins is a good striker. Jack Jenkins is quick. He's got a pretty deceptively good jab. He's got solid calf kicks. What he's dangerous with is the high kick. I mean, he showed it against Gabriel Santos. He dropped Santos with a head kick. And I think Santos is a fucking problem in the featherweight division. He's a prospect that I've been having my eye on since the debut against Lerone. He's really good. And you've seen on Contender Series, we've seen guys that have lost him and how good they are. Jack Jenkins dropped them. I know he lost the fight, but still, I have a lot of respect for Jack Jenkins' abilities, man. He's a well-versed fighter. He's good in all areas. He's in very good physical condition. He's explosive, strong, and his head kicks are incredibly dangerous. Now, on the opposite side, Ramon Taveras, he's got some good boxing, though. He can mix it up on the feet for sure. Southpaw, rips good punches in close. I say he's got a solid jab, too. He's got some power in his hooks. Definitely can get explosive. Kind of reminds me of like a mini Masvidal vibe. But damn, I just think he's going to be a step behind in this fight. And I think definitely could get caught by a head kick. I know you guys might say I'm reaching, but I don't know. I'm seeing a head kick as a chance in this one. I can see Jack Jenkins throwing up some high kicks and getting one through. I can see Taveras getting dropped in this matchup. I think Jack Jenkins goes out and wins. I think it's a good fight. I think he probably gets a KO. I think it's going to be a violent fight. I think this is going to be a banger. I feel like you look at the name value, like, why is Jenkins and Taveras the co-main event as opposed to, you know, even Crute and Erslan or anything like that, or even Matthews and Magny? Why is it the co-main event? Because I really think that violence is imminent in this matchup. Both guys, exciting strikers. Taveras looking to maybe get some things working well up in weight after losing to Davey Grant at bantamweight. I think he's going to run into real trouble here with Jack Jenkins. I think it's going to be a highly action-packed type of matchup, and I think it's going to be fun as hell, but I am going to go Jenkins by KO. I think it's going to be a bit of a wild one. I think Jenkins pulls through. I think the high kick is a dangerous technique. I think he could land it on Taveras. I could see Taveras getting kicked in the head and knocked out. We haven't seen a nice high kick, like traditional roundhouse, I feel like, in a bit. I'm trying to think back to the most recent one. We've seen some crazy spins and shit. I want to see like an old school head kick KO. I'm going Jack Jenkins. I'm going knockout by high kick. Obviously, it could go differently. It could be a TKO with punches. It could be, you know, a back and forth war into a decision. But I think Jack's got the goods for this matchup here. And I think he handles Ramon Taveras. Now, as far as the odds, Jenkins a minus 280 favorite. He opened up at minus 240. It's gotten a little wider. I agree with the odds. Taveras plus 240 is the underdog. He should be a clear underdog in this one. I don't disagree with that at all. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 155. I just got a feeling about violence. For some reason, I'm feeling like it's going to be a violent fight. Action-packed, high-paced, war. Just a good battle. Like, I think this is going to be a sick co-main event. That's what I'm feeling about this matchup. I really can't see a world in which this isn't a fun-ass fight. I like Taveras up in weight. I'm curious if he's got more power. And if he goes out and beats Jenkins, fucking knocks him out. If he just wins a split decision. But if he wins, that's huge for Taveras' career at featherweight. That changes things. That puts him in a whole new division and, you know, a good amount of matchups there for him. Losing to Davey Grant, it ain't that big of a deal. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Davey Grant's good. And it's bantamweight. But I think Jack Jenkins runs through him. I'm not going to say runs through him. I'm going to walk that back. I think Jack Jenkins beats him. I think Taveras has some moments, but I think Jenkins is just better. More well-rounded, sharper in the striking, technically more sound and more dangerous with the legs. And I think those legs end up being the ultimate difference maker. I'm going Jack Jenkins. I'm going knockout. I'm going back and forth battle into a highlight reel. Jenkins for the W, and the Australians taking it home in the co-main event. I'm going with him, getting it back on track. I like Jenkins. Even the Chepe fight, he was winning. He's got good performances. Jack Jenkins is good, man. And I think he's improved. He's 31 prime. Both guys 31 in their primes. I like this matchup. I like Jack Jenkins to do it. I'm picking him in the co-main. Let's jump to the main event of the evening. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. The main event prediction. I'm sticking with my guns, okay? And I'm sticking with my gut and my initial lean. I'm going with Dominic Reyes to spoil the party, okay? I think he's going to beat Carlos Ulberg in the fight. And I know I can hear the naysayers. Oh, he's getting chinned again. His chin is glass. Dominic Reyes is one of those guys where if he fights to his true potential, he can definitely give a run to Ulberg. 5 hard, no doubt. Against John Jones years ago, he looked amazing. Brought it to Jones. I won the first 3 rounds. Probably could have got the decision. Loses the 4th and 5th. But ultimately, when I look at Dominic Reyes' style, I think, okay, quick hitting southpaw with the 5-round championship experience, with a ton of UFC experience, really got dragged through the damn mud after losing to John Jones. It fell apart. Jan Blachowicz destroys him. He gets destroyed by Prochazka, but he did drop Prochazka in the fight. Nearly knocked him out. Supposedly Prochazka said he was knocked out. And then the Ryan Spann fight was terrible. It looked like it had all fallen apart, and Reyes was done. He turned up. He turned up big time. Reyes has really brought his career back. Dustin Jacoby, violent knockout. Destroyed Anthony Smith, and then chinned Nikita Krylov quick. Now, the Nikita Krylov one, you could say, oh, well, now Krylov lose to Bogdan. Nah, Reyes chinned him first, and he shouldn't even fought Bogdan. He was looking for a check. He fought Bogdan just for money, trust. I think Dominic Reyes gives Ulberg problems with pressure, Obviously, Ulberg, you have to be cautious of that check left hook. As Reyes closes the distance, at times that lead right hand is a little low as he looks for the big jackhammer straight left. Could he get caught by a check left hook? Absolutely, if he's over aggressive. But if Reyes fights with a center of reserve, like I'm saying, not taking it easy, not just sparring, but don't overshoot for a KO early in the fight. Take your time. Pick your shots. Ulberg from the outside. He's going to be picking shots. A little jab from distance. Reyes maybe can counter it over the top. Close the gap on the inside. Back him up a bit. Ulberg likes to stay on that bicycle and move. Ulberg is a tactician. Good low kicks. Good rhythm in his flow. Nice jab. Power in his check left hook. Dangerous for sure with his hands. Good uppercut. He's dangerous with his strikes. Takes his time, though. Dom Reyes can make it a fight. Where Reyes is most vulnerable of getting chinned, from my side at least, would be in the early portions, first 2 rounds, specifically the first 8 minutes. Reyes is over aggressive, looks to close that gap hard and just let bombs fly. A fully charged up Ulberg will have a bit of an advantage from distance. Just quicker movement on his feet. Not that Reyes isn't really quick on his feet, but in the way that Ulberg sets traps to counter, Reyes could get caught. Where I think Reyes could thrive is as this fight keeps going. As Ulberg's gas tank slows a bit, the movement slows a bit too. And then Ulberg is going to be more available to be hit. And then Reyes can start getting some good boxing combinations flowing. Some big flurries going. I could see Ulberg caught with an overhand left in close range from Reyes. Reyes has legit power, man. And if Ulberg gets potentially overzealous, pressing, tries to just clinch up with him and bully him with a tie clinch into some knees, Reyes could catch him over the top. I think Reyes could definitely land some big punches in that red zone, in that boxing range. Could be big punch combinations. Another element of this fight that I like is the southpaw stance for Reyes will eliminate, for the most part, the calf kick. Ulberg would have to shoot for the lead leg calf kick, which is not as effective. And it could leave him vulnerable to big blitzes from Dominic Reyes into range. I think it's going to be a very technical warfare for moments, but there's then going to be collides that happen where both guys are letting things fly. And I think Reyes, pure punch speed with multi-shot combinations, is faster. Ulberg is quicker on his feet, and he's got quicker kicks. Better from distance. But in the range, when both of them can hit one another, mid-range, close range, I think Dom Reyes is the more dangerous puncher, and I think Dom Reyes is the faster combination puncher as well. I think Reyes can have some big moments on the feet here. I see it. I see Reyes catching Ulberg. First round competitive. Like, I think this could be a calculated fight. If Ulberg is overzealous, we've seen what happens when you're overzealous on Reyes. Nikita Krylov walks into the bomb, and down he goes. If Ulberg is with the mentality of, oh, I fucked up Jan Blachowicz, look what Jan did. He didn't fuck up Jan, but I beat Jan. Look what Jan did to Reyes. You know, if he overlooks a Dominic Reyes and he fights in an aggressive manner early, he could walk into something from Reyes very early and get his light shut off. Reyes has pretty good countering abilities. Now, if he plays it more safe and it's more technical, I could see both guys landing. Ulberg probably landing a little more early in the fight, but then Reyes starting to find his rhythm. And if he can trap Ulberg towards one of the corners, right, back towards the cage, cut him off, cut that cage off beautifully and let some big combos fly, I could see him landing. I think it could be a hard-fought 5-round back and forth. I think in the championship rounds, Reyes' hand speed's a different maker, big difference maker. I think in round 3, Reyes could pick it up and start getting some big punches going. Earlier, though, I think that Ulberg would be live to catch an over-aggressive Reyes with a big counter shot, as on the flip side it could, but more likely it'll be Ulberg on the back foot taking his time. Where Ulberg runs into trouble is if he does look to make it more of a dogfight early. If he's like, okay, I want to put this guy away. I'm going to make a statement here. That's where I really think Reyes could catch him with that big left hand. I love the matchup. I think Reyes finds a way. Whether it's on the scorecards or even a KO win with a big punch, I think Reyes can do a little more. I think Ulberg is really good. I think Ulberg is technically sound. And in a 5-round, there's a lot of time. 25 minutes to work. Reyes gets another chance. This is like the last shot for Dominic Reyes. The Dominic Reyes that went tooth and nail with Jones If he shows up and that's the Reyes we get again, and I believe it's 100% possible. He's 35. He's not washed. 35 at light heavyweight is fucking prime. If we get that version of Dom, I think he can outwork Ulberg. I think he could potentially hurt Ulberg. I think he pulls off the upset. I think it's easy to overlook Dominic Reyes because of a troubling few fights. Troubling handful, I should say. 4 of them. But the Jones fight, he could have won. So 3 of them, really. So few fits. You have to look at lately. His precision has been insane. His knockouts have been on point. And it's easy to judge. Oh, he's chinny. He's this and that. He got caught by some big shots. Shit happens. I think he's found his confidence again. A confident Dominic Reyes that truly believes he can go out there and beat Carlos Ulberg is a Dominic Reyes that wins. And I am going to be on the side of having faith that we get that version of Dominic Reyes. My prediction will be Dominic Reyes to pull off the upset. I believe there's a possibility of a knockout. I think you could put Ulberg away, especially in the later stages of the fight. But a hard 3-round war where Reyes does more in the later stages is possible too. Dominic Reyes the win. That's my prediction for this main event. As far as the odds, I got the underdog. Plus 220 for the side of Dom Reyes. Ulberg minus 260. Looking towards over 2.5 plus 130. I think they're live to go over 2.5, to be fair. I see it going over 1.5. I don't think Reyes is just getting starched. I think Reyes is just getting started again. This is what dreams are made of, man. This is what the whole fighting shit is about. Coming back from the depths of hell and finding your way to success again when it seems like there's no hope. Reyes has a chance to do what a lot of people a few years ago, me included, would have thought as the unthinkable. Turn your life around. Go from what could have been to what can be again. And a win here sets him up for a world title fight. If he knocks out Ulberg, especially, but even just a win, if Prochazka goes out and beats Khalil, or even Khalil goes out and beats Prochazka, and then there's a Reyes who beat Ulberg, is the storyline not more appealing for the UFC to put him in the title fight, regardless of who wins between Ankalaev and Pereira, though I think Ankalaev gets him again. I think a Dominic Reyes title fight in 2026 is what dreams are made of, man. And I feel like we got something special. I called it the Rocky story of MMA, or at least the chance of such. I think Dominic Reyes pulls off the shock. I think Ulberg is going to overlook him. I think he's going to be overconfident. And I do think he's going to get caught with some big punches. Now, whether or not he goes to sleep remains to be seen. But I think over the 5, Reyes can do more. And I got Dominic Reyes getting his hand raised. I think the knockout is really there. I can see the left hand landing. I can see Ulberg getting caught over the top, dropped, and then big ground and pound from Reyes. And just people shocked in Australia. Silence as the city kickboxing in New Zealand's finest goes to sleep. He'll definitely be the hometown favorite, though he's not from Australia. He's New Zealand. It's right there. He's with the city kickboxing crew that has numerous Australian fighters on the card. He is on home turf. But I think Dom Reyes pulls through in enemy territory, essentially. I'm picking him to do it. I think it happens here. I got a feeling. I just see it. I think Ulberg's getting cracked. I think he might get knocked out. I'm leaning towards KO the more I sit here and talk about it. I see that left hand and then some big ground and pound landing. Reyes has got nasty fast twitch power. He closes that gap at an incredibly efficient rate. And though Ulberg's got a great counter ability, the southpaw stance makes me wonder. It makes me wonder big time. And I think that the southpaw stance could neutralize Ulberg a bit. And I think Reyes can end up finding some great success. I'm going Dominic Reyes in the main event to shock everybody and turn things around and win. Those are my predictions for UFC Perth. I hope you guys enjoyed the full card breakdown. Listen, we're back on business. 9 weeks straight of UFC, starting with this banger. Make sure you guys tune into the Fight Companion. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Welcome to the show if it's your first time here. Big W to everybody watching. Let me know in the comments, do you think I'm crazy for going Dom Reyes? Or do you see what I'm seeing? I want to hear from the people. Now, if you got nothing to say, just a W in the comments to boost the algorithm for your boy. It helps me out. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Share the video if you really enjoyed it too. Don't be afraid to turn on the post notifications. I got the daily content coming for 9 weeks straight, and I can't wait for it. Love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.